12 ways to recognize envy and falsehood in others. Stoicism. Have you ever stood amidst a chorus of smiles and soothing words, only to feel a shadow brush against your heart, a whisper of doubt about the sincerity of those around you? Beneath the gleam of friendly gestures, envy and deceit can coil, silent and insidious, their presence masked by a veneer so polished it defies easy detection. We often cradle the comforting belief that authenticity shines like a beacon, yet the truth unfurls a more intricate tale. Jealousy and falsehood are artisans of disguise, weaving themselves into the fabric of human bonds with such finesse that they elude our sharpest gaze. Those who harbor these veiled currents can be the most perilous, lurking within the embrace of kindness, poised to unravel your trust when vulnerability dawns. Picture this: you've just scaled a formidable peak at work, a promotion forged through relentless nights, a project birthed from unyielding resolve. Friends and colleagues encircle you, their voices a symphony of congratulations, their hands clapping in unison. Yet beneath this jubilant tide, a subtle discord ripples, an unease you can't quite pin. Amid the throng, does a smile waver, its warmth failing to ignite the eyes above? Could a heart swollen with envy throb beneath those practiced words of praise? These faint yet forceful tremors are the Stoic summons to vigilance, harbingers of jealousy and deception, threading through the fragile weave of human connection. In this expansive odyssey, I offer you 12 powerful methods to pierce these shrouded shadows, each forged in the timeless crucible of Stoic philosophy, a doctrine tempered by the profound minds of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus across centuries of human striving. These tools are not mere lenses for observation. They are instruments of mastery, empowering you to tame your emotions, carve a fortress of inner peace, and navigate the hidden currents of envy and deceit that ripple through your relationships. By embracing these Stoic principles, you'll emerge not just stronger but wiser, adept at cultivating bonds that resonate with truth, while shielding yourself from the venom of toxic influences. Before we embark, I extend a challenge. Traverse this path to its farthest horizon, absorbing each lesson with care, for every method is a vital pillar in erecting a life aligned with your deepest values, a life of fulfillment, resilience, and unshakable clarity. Leave a comment below. I am ready to embark on the journey. To signal your resolve to plumb the depths of Stoic wisdom alongside me. 1. Observe their actions. Stoicism unveils a foundational truth that slices through the clamor of human pretense. Words are a malleable mirage, easily sculpted into flattery or lies, but actions stand as the unvarnished testament of a person's soul. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor whose meditations endure as a Stoic touchstone, wrote in Book 6, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This counsel is not merely a call to personal virtue, it extends as a principle of discernment. Judge others not by the melodies they sing, but by the paths they tread. For words can be spun into deception, while deeds etch truth into reality's stone. In 49 BCE, Julius Caesar faced this lesson in the crucible of betrayal, when Pompey, his erstwhile ally, draped his Gallic victories in public praise, only to orchestrate a clandestine revolt in the Senate. Envy whispered not through speech, but through the quiet machinery of action. Turn this lens upon those around you, seeking the fissures where words and deeds diverge, for envy often festers in these shadowed gaps. Imagine a colleague who strides into a meeting, voice booming with a hearty, "Well done" for your latest triumph. Yet behind closed doors, They murmured doubts about your work, planting seeds of discredit among peers. Their actions, not their applause, whisper their truth, a jealousy that writhes at your ascent, unable to bear the light you cast. Ask yourself, have I known someone whose promises rang hollow, their words a glittering shell around an empty core? Have I leaned on a vow of support that dissolved into dust when I reached for it? These are not fleeting oversights. They are the embers of resentment, a silent grudge smoldering beneath their polished exterior. Picture a rival poet in ancient Athens, shadowing Sophocles in 468 BCE, lauding his victorious play in the Dionysian festival, only to sow discord among the chorus later. Envy betrayed not in verse but in the quiet sabotage that followed. To wield this stoic tool, become a silent sentinel of their unguarded moments, those fleeting instances when they believe the mask need not hold. A friend who swears unwavering loyalty yet vanishes when your fortunes dip, unveils their insincerity through absence, their retreat a louder confession than any spoken pledge. In contrast, a genuine soul aligns their deeds with their declarations, heedless of audience or reward. In Rome, Seneca might have observed a courtier's generosity wane when no eyes remained to applaud, a transactional kindness unmasked by solitude. By elevating actions above promises, you sharpen your vision to discern intent, peeling back rhetoric's layers to glimpse the soul beneath. Yet this practice turns inward too. Do my own deeds mirror the values I proclaim? In 480 BCE, Leonidas at Thermopylae judged his Spartans not by their oaths, but by their stand against Xerxes' tide, action as the ultimate arbiter. This method not only reveals others' character, but summons you to embody the integrity you seek, a dual mirror of stoic wisdom. 2. Evaluate their response to your success. Your achievements are a blazing forge, melting away the masks of those around you to expose the molten currents of their hearts. Stoicism teaches that a virtuous soul rejoices in your progress, seeing it as the harvest of your toil and tenacity, a triumph to share, not a threat to endure. Yet for the envious, your success is a jagged thorn, piercing their sense of self, a perceived diminishment that stirs a restless unease they struggle to cloak. Epictetus, the former slave turned Stoic sage, wrote in Enchiridion, chapter 19, "You can be invincible if you never enter a contest where victory is not in your power. Their jealousy is an external beyond your grasp, a storm to weather, not to tame." Recall your last crest of triumph, perhaps a promotion wrested from years of effort, a personal milestone carved from sacrifice. How did those nearest respond? Did a friend muster a strained congratulations, their lips curling into a smile that never ignited their eyes, followed by a barbed whisper, "Well, you got lucky this time," or "I could have done it too with your chances"? These are not careless jests. They are fissures in a jealous soul, unable to revel in your victory, driven instead to dim its glow. In 53 BCE, Crassus, one of Rome's wealthiest generals, clapped for Pompey's military laurels in public, yet inwardly seethed as his own Parthian campaign crumbled. Envy cloaked in hollow cheers, a resentment that gnawed at his core. Today, a coworker might stride forward in a team huddle to applaud your new role, only to murmur later in the break room, "She didn't really earn it." Their smile a brittle shell stretched over discontent. Or envision a Greek poet in 1200 BCE, Mycenae, praising a warrior's spoils from the Trojan fields, then hinting at greater heroes of old, jealousy threading through his measured nod. A true ally's joy is unreserved, a warm, specific embrace of your effort, free of shadows or undertones. They celebrate your climb without tallying their own footing, their words a mirror of your worth, rather than a reflection of their lack. The deceitful, however, shroud their envy in empty praise, their congratulations a facade that crumbles as they whisper critiques or sow doubt in your absence. This discomfort with your rise betrays a fragile ego, one that perceives your ascent as a spotlight on their own stagnation. In 429 BCE Athens, Pericles might have faced such duplicity from rivals who cheered his orations in the assembly, only to plot his ostracism in shadowed corners, envy a silent blade. What then? Confront this bitterness head-on, or step back to guard your serenity? Stoicism offers a clear path. Release what lies beyond your control, their feelings, and turn your focus inward, nurturing bonds where your victories are cherished, not coveted. Cato the Younger in Rome's waning republic might have sought companions who lauded his integrity without grudge, their light a steady guide. Ask, who shares my joy without a shadow cast across it? Their presence is your compass through envy's fog. 3. Notice how they treat those who can't benefit them. At Stoicism's core lies a tenet of universal dignity, a principle Seneca etched in On Benefits, Book 4. He who gives to the unworthy is no less noble. A noble spirit extends respect and compassion to all, especially the powerless, while the envious and deceitful wield kindness as a coin, spent only where profit glimmers. In 336 BCE, Diogenes the Cynic, perched in his barrel, scorned Alexander the Great's courtiers, who bowed low to the king, yet trampled the poor underfoot. Compassion, a performance staged for gain, not a virtue lived in truth. Turn your gaze to how others treat those who offer no leverage, no status, wealth, or sway to wield. A genuine soul carries kindness like a steady flame, illuminating all they meet, whether a CEO in a boardroom or a janitor sweeping the halls. They see worth beyond utility. Yet the deceitful reveal a stark chasm, warm and accommodating to those who can elevate them, cold and dismissive to those who cannot. Picture a coworker who drapes the boss in charm, laughter and flattery flowing freely, then turns to snap at the cleaning staff with a curt, "Move faster." Their warmth is a mask donned for advantage, their contempt the raw pulse of their soul. In 44 BCE, Brutus, Caesar's protege, courted the dictator's favor with honeyed deference, yet dismissed Rome's plebeians with a sneer. Envy of Caesar's towering power warping his humanity into a transactional shell. Today, a friend might shower a wealthy acquaintance with attention. Phone calls, invitations, praise, yet brush off a struggling peer with indifference, their duality a glaring flare. Or envision Nero in 64 CE lauding senators in gilded halls while abusing servants in shadowed corridors, jealousy of true virtue fueling his scorn. This disparity unveils a soul tethered not to goodness, but to gain. Resentment simmering beneath their need to dominate the weak while coveting the strong. A fragile superiority propped by belittling the vulnerable. In ancient Sparta, Leonidas might have judged a warrior's mettle not by battlefield prowess alone, but by his treatment of helots, the enslaved underclass. Character bared in the quiet moments. When you witness this divide, take heed. It's a red flag of duplicity and pettiness, a warning that their kindness bends to self-interest, not principle. Yet Stoicism turns this lens inward too. How do I treat those who can't repay me? Does my compassion falter when no reward looms? In 509 BCE, Rome's early consuls might have measured their republic's worth by how they honored the powerless. not just the patricians. Apply this daily. Watch a colleague with a waiter, a friend with a stranger, and see how it reshapes your understanding. This Stoic measure strips away pretense, revealing both their soul's contours and your own. 4. Distinguish between praise and flattery. Sincere praise is a quiet, steady gift, a recognition of merit that lifts without binding, while excessive flattery is a gilded snare, a Stoic caution etched by Marcus Aurelius in Meditations, Book 3. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Our worth, Stoicism insists, is not tethered to others, a claim but rooted in our own assessment, a fortress against the tides of external opinion. When praise washes over you, pause to probe its depths. Does this mirror my true efforts or cloak a calculated design? In 399 BCE, Socrates faced sophists who drenched Athens' elite in flattery, only to mock them in shadowed alleys. Praise a tool of manipulation, not truth, as Plato's Gorgias decried. Flattery often bears a hidden hand, an intent to mask envy or curry favor, a sweet veneer over a bitter core. Imagine a colleague who strides forward in a crowded room, voice booming. You're unmatched at this. Yet their aid never materializes when you call, and later you catch whispers of their critique in the halls. Their words aren't a tribute, they're a veil, perhaps concealing jealousy of your skill or a bid to soften your guard for their gain. In 55 BCE, Pompey draped Caesar's Gallic triumphs in lavish praise, only to rally allies against him in secret, envy lurking beneath adulation, a courtly dance of deceit. Today, a friend might flood you with compliments. You're a natural. Then sidestep your plea for support, their praise a velvet glove cloaking a clenched fist. Or picture a Persian courtier in 480 BCE, exalting Xerxes' might before the court, then plotting his downfall in shadowed tents, jealousy threading through honeyed tones. True praise is spare, deliberate, a meaningful nod to your work, born of authenticity rather than artifice. It seeks no reward, offers no hook. When flattery unfurls, guard your clarity. What do they seek from me? Don't let sweet words blur your vision or sway your anchor. In Rome, Scipio Africanus might have sifted through Hannibal's envoy's flattery in 22 BCE, seeking the kernel of truth amid the chaff. This discernment is your shield against false allies, forging a life of integrity where bonds rest on bedrock, not quicksand. Have you felt a shiver beneath a torrent of praise? An unease your mind couldn't yet name? Reflect on those moments. Your instincts may have grazed the falsehood beneath. In Athens, Pericles might have weighed poets' lauds in 429 BCE, wary of their motives. Stoicism empowers you to see through this haze, rooting your relationships in truth, not trickery. 5. Monitor consistency. Consistency is the Stoic's touchstone of trust, a call to live by principle with unwavering resolve. As Epictetus urged in Discourses, Book 2, first decide who you would be, then do what you must. When you assess others, trace the arc of their behavior across time and tide. Do their actions echo their words in steady rhythm, or shift like sand beneath the winds of circumstance? In 480 BCE, Xerxes faced Persian nobles who swore fealty with fervent oaths, only to scatter at Salamis when Greek valor outshone their own, consistency buckling under the weight of envy. A sincere soul's conduct is a steadfast river, flowing with kindness, whether you're a boon or a burden to them. The deceitful, however, bend like reeds in a storm, warm and engaging when advantage beckons, distant or cruel when it fades. Picture a friend who lifts your name in a crowded room. You're the best. Then gossips your flaws when your back is turned, their praise a fleeting act in a play of self-interest. In 62 BCE, Clodius hailed Cicero's consulship with public fervor, only to unleash mobs against him later. Envy of Cicero's stature twisting his allegiance into betrayal. Today, a co-worker might pledge teamwork with a hearty handshake, then claim sole credit when the project shines, their warmth a mirage that dissipates with your utility. Or envision a Spartan in 44 BCE swearing alliance with Athens after Aegospodomy, only to betray it when power shifted, jealousy unraveling his word. Don't leap to judgment on a single stumble. Seek the pattern, the repetition that betrays intent. Do they treat all with fairness, or hoard their kindness for those who can hoist them higher? Inconsistency signals a restless heart, prone to jealousy when your strides outpace their own. A soul adrift in the currents of gain rather than anchored in principle. Ask, are those around me steadfast in their values, or do they waver when the spotlight shifts? If the latter, tread with caution. They may cradle resentment beneath their shifting masks. In Carthage, Hannibal might have tested his allies' fidelity in 218 BCE, prizing those whose loyalty endured beyond the battlefield's roar. Stoicism bids you seek such constants, for their steadiness is the weight of truth, a bulwark against the tides of deceit. 6. Observe their attitude. When criticized, Marcus Aurelius in Meditations, Book 11, declared, "If someone can show me I'm wrong, I'll gladly change, for I seek the truth." This is Stoicism's hallmark of wisdom, an openness to critique as a forge for growth, not a wound to pride. Yet for the envious and deceitful, criticism is a dagger, a crack in the brittle edifice they've built to shield their flaws. In 399 BCE, Socrates welcomed challenges in Athens' agora, his accusers raging in response, envy of his piercing clarity fueling their venom rather than reflection. Watch how they greet feedback. Do they lean in, listening to refine their path, or recoil, bristling with defense? A sincere leader might invite input from subordinates, a chance to sharpen their craft, while a false one silences dissent with a glare or a reprimand, fearing the exposure of their limits. Picture a teammate who snaps at a suggestion, "You don't get it." Their anger a fortress against scrutiny. In 54 BCE, Cato the Younger faced Caesar's allies, who scorned his critiques of their excess, envying his unyielding moral spine, defensiveness their shield. Today, a manager might punish an honest subordinate's input, their rage a mask for jealousy of candor they lack. Or envision Alcibiades in 415 BCE, bristling at Athenian rebuke over his Sicilian ambitions, envy of rivals flaring in his retorts. This stoic lens turns inward too. When critiqued, do I seek truth or clutch my ego? The wise embrace correction as virtue's anvil, hammering flaws into strength. In others, hostility to critique betrays a deeper unrest, a reluctance to face their shortcomings beside your resilience, a jealousy that dreads the mirror of truth. In Citium, Zeno might have weighed his pupils' openness in 300 BCE, sifting those who grew from those who shrank. This method unveils who walks the path of truth and who skulks in envy's mire, a measure of character as sharp as it is revealing. 7. Notice unintentional comparisons. Comparisons slip forth like unbidden echoes, a stoic caution to measure ourselves against our past, not others, as Epictetus taught in Herodian, Chapter 1. Some things are up to us, some are not. Yet envy thrives in this soil, spilling forth in casual barbs. You did well, but she's still ahead. A reflex that reveals a heart perceiving your gains as its diminishment. In 490 BCE, Miltiades basked in Marathon's glory. only to hear peers hint at greater feats of old, envy threading through their veiled nods. A true friend values you as a singular flame, not a spark to weigh against others. The jealous, however, wield comparisons as subtle blades, cutting you down to soothe their own unease. A bid to elevate themselves by dimming your light. Imagine a colleague's offhand, "Nice work, but he's still better," a sting cloaked as candor. In 146 BCE, Scipio Aemilianus heard elders laud his sack of Carthage, then exalt Scipio Africanus' earlier triumphs, jealousy tinging their praise. Today, a friend might cheer your painting, then cite another's flair. "She's got a real gift." Their words a quiet jab. Or picture a Trojan bard in 1200 BCE, praising Hector's valor, then exalting Achilles, envy weaving through his measured verse. Listen closely. Do they uplift or undercut? Stoicism bids you let such externals drift past, guarding your peace amid their discontent, a practice Pericles might have honed in 429 BCE, deaf to rivals' jabs. 8. Pay attention to their reactions to personal failures. Failure is the Stoics' crucible, a searing test of character. As Seneca wrote in On Tranquility of Mind, to bear trials calmly robs misfortune of its power. The honest face setbacks with humility, seeking lessons over lament, while the deceitful scramble for cover, blaming fate, others, anything but themselves, envy fueling their flight from accountability. In 338 BCE, Demosthenes faulted Philip II for Chaeronia's loss, not his own strategy. Jealousy of Macedon's rise, twisting his narrative into a shield. Observe their dance with defeat. Do they own their stumbles or spin a web of excuses? A colleague who falters on a project and cries, "They failed me," may resent your ability to rise from similar ashes. In 48 BCE, Pompey blamed his troops at Pharsalus, envying Caesar's unyielding triumph, a refusal to face his own missteps. Today, a peer might botch a task, then fault the team. If they'd pulled their weight, their evasion, a flare of unrest. Or envision Hannibal in 22 BCE, cursing fate at Zama rather than his choices, jealousy of Scipio's victory gnawing within. Stoicism unveils this truth. Adversity strips away pretense, revealing who's anchored in reality and who drifts in denial. In 480 BCE, Leonidas at Thermopylae might have prized warriors who owned their limits, not shirked them. A measure of soul as stark as battles clash. Number 9. Evaluate how they share personal information. Marcus Aurelius mused in Meditations, Book 7, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." How one recounts their triumphs and trials as a canvas of their character. Sincerity paints with modesty, highlighting lessons over laurels, while deceit inflates or wounds, envy twisting tales to tear others down. In 431 BCE, Thucydides chronicled Pericles' rivals who boasted victories while slandering foes, jealousy threading their weave. Listen to their stories. Do they trumpet minor feats as monumental or malign others to dim their shine? A teammate might hype a trivial win, "I saved the day," or whisper a rival's flaws to tarnish them. In 64 CE, Nero boasted Rome's grandeur while pinning the city's fire on Christians, envy of their steadfast faith fueling his lies. Today, a friend might exaggerate a success, "I practically ran the show," or spread gossip to undercut another, their words a dart aimed at your trust. Or picture a Babylonian scribe in 539 BCE praising Cyrus's conquests, then cursing fallen foes, jealousy in his ink. Stoicism values candor. Do they build or break? In Rome, Cato might have judged peers' tales in 1804 BCE, guarding his circle from venom's reach. 10. Listen to your inner voice. Trust your intuition, a Stoic sentinel honed by inner awareness, As Epictetus urged in Discourses, Book 3, trust your impressions, but test them. If friendliness rings hollow, heed that whisper. It may catch envy or deceit before reason pins it down. In 399 BCE, Socrates sensed his accusers' malice before their trial, envy's hum beneath their charge, a vibration his soul detected. Picture a friend's "great job" jarring your gut, an unease you can't yet name. In 44 BCE, Cicero might have felt a shiver at Brutus's warmth, jealousy's scent wafting through the air. Today, a coworker's aide might feel off, their rivalry a quiet pulse beneath their help. Or envision Leonidas in 480 BCE, sensing a traitor's tread at Thermopylae, instinct flagging deceit before eyes confirmed it. Stoicism marries this whisper to reason, a compass through deceit's fog. Heed it, then weigh it. Your inner voice is a guardian, steering you from harm to truth. A silent sage Pericles might have trusted amid Athens' intrigues. 11. Examine their need for control. Stoicism warns against the tyranny of control, a trap Seneca illuminated in Letters to Lucilius, Letter 94. He who seeks to rule others often loses himself. The envious and deceitful often cling to dominance, their need to steer every tide, a mask for insecurity or a jealousy of your autonomy. In 323 BCE, Alexander's generals vied for his empire after his death, their flattery of his legacy a veneer for envy-driven ambition. Control their solace in his shadow's absence. Observe their urge to dictate. Do they empower or enslave? Picture a friend who insists on steering every plan, bristling when you take the lead, their grip a quiet resentment of your independence. In 27 BCE, Augustus faced senators who praised his reign publicly, yet chafed at his power in private, jealousy fueling their need to wrest control. Today, a colleague might dictate tasks with an iron hand, resenting your freedom to chart your course, their command a cloak for envy. Or envision a Mycenaean chieftain in 1200 BCE, lauding a warrior's feats, then demanding his obedience, jealousy of prowess masked as authority. Stoicism frees you from their chains. Do they share power or hoard it? Seek those who lift without leashing, for they honor your light, not dim it. 12. Assess their response to your silence. Silence is a stoic refuge, a space of strength. As Marcus Aurelius noted in Meditations, Book 2, silence is a refuge for the wise. Yet for the envious, your stillness can unsettle, a void they rush to fill, revealing their discomfort with your calm. In 300 BCE, Zeno of Citium faced pupils who praised his stoicism, yet grew restless when he withdrew, envy of his serenity stirring unease. Watch how they react when you grow quiet. Do they respect it or prod for response? Picture a friend unsettled by your retreat, pressing, "Why aren't you saying anything?" Their agitation a sign of jealousy for your peace. In 509 BCE, Tarquin's allies lauded Rome's nascent republic, then schemed at its stillness, envy of its quiet strength. Today, a peer might poke when you step back, their discomfort a flare of resentment. Or envision a Trojan elder in 1200 BCE praising Priam's resolve, then faltering at his silence, jealousy of his poise. Stoicism values your stillness. Do they honor it or dread it? The sincere cherish your calm, the deceitful chafe at its power. A stoic tapestry of clarity. These 12 methods: observe actions, evaluate responses to success, notice treatment of the powerless, distinguish praise from flattery, monitor consistency, observe attitudes to critique, notice comparisons, watch reactions to failure, evaluate shared tales, heed your inner voice, examine control, assess silence, form a stoic tapestry woven with threads of ancient wisdom and modern echoes. From Pompey's betrayal to Nero's lies, from Socrates' accusers to Alexander's generals, history mirrors today: the colleague who schemes behind smiles, the friend who envies your calm. Stoicism not only unveils these shadows but reforges you, purging deceit's haze for clarity's dawn. Apply one, watch a deed, feel a silence, and comment, "I did it," with your tale. I'm here to walk with you. Life is too vast for falsehood's chains. Let Stoicism lift you to truth.